Welcome back, this is episode 4 of the Drift Build series. As you can see, there's still a bumper next to the car and our differential still isn't welded. In the previous episode, we took it for a test drive. What were we missing? The spare drift. So in this episode, we'll weld the differential. We have 10.5 hours left and the clock is ticking. We're also installing lots of goodies like a cold air intake and toe straps. To get the most power out of our 144 horsepower, of course, we're going to install a cold air intake. The more cold air you get to your air filter, the more power you actually produce. Warm air doesn't ignite well, but cold air does. So what do we need for that? An air duct from here to our missing air filter. We still need to address that too. "10 hours and 20 minutes the time. The time keeps ticking." I think we should just put it next to it, and you'll still have your brake cooling. We can just put it here, by that fog light on the side, we can add it there next to it. So we just remove a circle here, and then we just put it next to it. That seems a lot simpler to me than actually, just removing your brake duct. Now we have it all in mind, and now comes the execution, because of course we're going to have this car tuned. And the colder the air, the more power. Let us know in the comments. M8 pauses if you've made it this far in the episode. Thank you. With a compact, they've already made the bumper kind of a quick release since it's only held on by 2 bolts. In the middle and on the sides for us, it's kind of a click system. We could add some easy elastic bands by drilling holes here and there and wrapping a band around them, but for now we're satisfied. It's just a bit secured, that's good enough, so those 2 bolts go in from underneath and then we're done. Check out our cold air intake, how cool it turned out. It works just as we planned, moves smoothly, and our brake cooling remains, so great job done. As we can see, our air filter is actually way too big. The diameter of the air filter compared to the mass airflow sensor is just a big difference, which is why we couldn't secure it. Now we've used a piece of turbo piping, we've slid it around it, and this turbo piping also had a rubber edge on it. That's actually used as a kind of anti-slip. Because of that, the air filter was even harder to slide on, and as you can see, Daniel is really struggling. But once it was finally on, we secured it. And believe me, we're definitely not going to lose this one anymore. So now that the air filter was installed, we moved on to the rear tow hook, because we also want a nice little cord at the back. And actually on a compact, it looks like it was made for that. Because you just take out the bumper bolt and simply put your tow cord back into the hole. And then you basically secure it again to the bumper beam, which makes it really sturdy. I think we just did a couple of burnouts. Wow, look how fast the inside is spinning. It didn't even touch. Look here. This shows why your wheel should stay upright, since it's spinning fast inside. Tilting is unnecessary. Yes guys, it's a new day and I'm really so excited because today the differential is going to be welded and we're going to do that with our Lidl welding machine, guys. This is going to get the job done. I'm just a bit unsure about the weld, how strong it's going to be, because the weld really needs to be able to melt the material to fuse it together. It definitely needs to be set to maximum heat. Before, whenever we tried welding with a regular outlet, the fuse blew every time. But now, of course, we have the new bridges that are connected to the 400-volt outlet, if I'm not mistaken. With that, we can weld a bit hotter, so hopefully we can just weld our diff with it. Because you just don't want a failing differential on a track, since that can simply ruin your whole day. Yeah, and with only 9 hours left on the clock, actually, we're almost entering the 8-hour zone, so we have to weld the diff. It's a time-consuming job because it must be done right. As Danielle said, if it breaks on the track, your day is ruined, and no one wants that. So now we're going to put the car on the lift. We're going to take off the diff cover so we can weld the inside part of the diff, and of course, we'll take you along in that process. Many people don't know how this works, so we'll explain.
The most important thing is that you really degrease the inside of the differential thoroughly because of course it's covered in oil. It must stay lubricated, but you can't weld on greasy parts, so it needs to be well degreased. It must be done, and the fumes need to be gone since we've had a small explosion before.
Here's what you do. Make a weld spot, which is just a spark or flame. Then brake cleaner fumes ignite with a woof. That was a valuable lesson.
Your eyelashes curl up completely and your eyebrows are gone. So those are the things from the past that we've learned from. But we've made the mistakes so you don't have to.
Let's get started. Cars up, time to weld.
Nice commercial, huh? For the linen weaving school.
I'll show you guys real quick. Corner 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, of course, you can still rotate your diff and weld it shut from the other side as well. If that's not strong enough, we think we can always make a plate that fits exactly into the square here. And then you can actually weld it completely shut. Yeah, I'd say let's grab our cheap welding machine, which has actually always worked well so far, but today we're really gonna put it to the test. So yeah, we're gonna grab it, and on its hottest setting, we're gonna weld it completely shut.
You know, we're from Eastern Europe. This is how we do it. The combination tool for everything, you know?
That's why we don't make our vlogs in English, because it's not that good. We have an AI translated Spanish channel, so we speak Spanish. While my lungs are still recovering a bit from all the brake cleaner fumes and differential oil fumes I just inhaled. Well, Baron is going to start adjusting the gears properly to each other, because yes, those gears just need to be aligned correctly before you actually make the first weld in the corners. That's right, because if the gears aren't aligned exactly opposite, the weld won't fuse properly, causing incorrect force on the internal mechanism and leading to earlier failure. So just a little adjustment, or rather, turning your wheel a bit to position the gears exactly in the right place, just to make sure you can weld it properly.
So that's what we're definitely going to do, and once that's set correctly, we'll start welding.
And once we've welded, we'll take a look and assess whether it's strong enough and whether we need to weld another plate in there. An iron plate reduces forces on internal parts by distributing them across the whole differential, not just specific gear sections, which prevents weakness. There are quite a few people who have already sent us messages on Instagram, not following us yet, Twins TV. We also post content there that doesn't make it to YouTube. Aside from that, we get many DMs asking how to weld a diff like this and what kind of plate to use, so thanks for that. I definitely recommend a welding helmet.
Oh yeah, I just want it to look like this, you know, but no, it'll be fine.
So he already has a spare, but of course it's not completely solid yet. So what he's gonna do now is finish it completely. But we already have 2 driven wheels, nicey. No turning back. It's a drift car now. How long have we been welding? About an hour. Unfortunately, after an hour, the welding machine broke down. I disassembled it. I think a fuse or the motherboard is broken, but it's extremely hot inside and smells like burnt plastic. We'll try to get it working again. If not, we'll leave the differential as is, since we don't have another welding machine.
Let me see if I can find a light.
We've basically welded it shut. Ignore our welding. We're not welders and can't really do it, but I'll try to get my welding machine working again. If it doesn't work, we'll just keep closing it up and fill it with clean new oil, because it's already stuck. But we really wanted to weld everything, so I'll be back with an update soon. After waiting about 30 minutes and finding no issue with the welding machine, it suddenly started working again. I think the motherboard just needed to cool down. Now that it had cooled, we continued welding the diff. After about half an hour more, we decided to leave it as is. And of course, cleaning the rest of the diff, because you get welding splatter everywhere. And if you don't clean it, it gets into your bearings and your bearings will break in no time. I had to become a truck mechanic. When I hold big sockets like the 21, that's when I truly feel like I'm working. Back in the day, socket 8, socket 10, but above 21, that's when I think, yeah man, men's tools like that. While this can dry for a moment, we're of course going to change the engine oil now and also replace the front brake pads. Because of course, these are also crucial components to have a well-running car on May 25th. And of course, we don't know anything about the condition of the oil, how long ago it was changed, except that it's leaking a lot and is very dark. So we're just going to put good quality oil in there. From mortal, just to protect our engine after having done 300,000 kilometers. Let me just secure the car tuning. We're wondering if a BMW with 300,000 kilometers has engine damage. I noticed some shimmer, but our bearing shells seem fine. We're doing well with our expensive oil in an engine with 300,000 kilometers. The engine oil was just changed. Since we're taking it to the chip tuner soon, it's crucial to have quality oil for proper engine lubrication. We're going to replace the front brake pads now because they're pretty much metal on metal, and after that the differential should be dry. Can we also top up our liquid gaskets, and then it's time for our second test drive. Let's go. Have you ever seen brake pads with a blue stripe on them? Those are the real ones, and what is that blue stripe for? Is that your wear indicator? So if you take it out once, you can check, hey, are they still good or not? Tell us what you think in the comments. I'm going to spare you the footage of me replacing these brake pads. So here's the camera trick, bada bing bada boom. The brake pads have been replaced. We still need to fill the differential, so let's do that now. Let's go. Of course, we're using model again. Challenge completed. Give me a high five, bro. Really good job. As you can see, we also put some steel wheels on the back. Huge shout out to Jeff for bringing the steelies and also other wheels. Those are the things that really help us out. I just said the challenge is completed, but we still don't know if that diff actually does anything, so that's what we're going to test now. We're going to lower the car, get a bit of temperature in it, and then do a good burnout. Let's go. Let's put a little temperature in the car. Alright, now everything's warming up. Jeffy, yeah, it's working, you know. It really sounds like a drift car, doesn't it? Let's see if it can do a two-wheel burnout. If it can handle a burnout, then at least we know the rest will be fine too, because now there's a lot of power going to the differential. Yeah, then we just did a good job, so yeah, it was good. Only my brakes weren't pressurized yet after we replaced the brake pads. It's convenient. You pump the brakes, put in new front brake pads, and we're good to go. Man, those tires are really squealing. I just have to cover my ears. I think we're going to head outside, and we're not going to do anything crazy, because last time we already got a bit of a warning, actually. We're going to do a small donut and a quick burnout. If it holds up, we'll know we did our job right. Okay, the first few meters are with the repaired diff. I can feel it right away, and of course you can hear it. It made it through the first corner too. That's great news, as I mentioned earlier. Now both wheels want to turn simultaneously. Previously, the inner wheel rotated more than the outer one. And now it's identical. That's why when you make a turn now, you really hear gig gig gig. You really hear it right away. The thing sounds so good from the outside. Just when that cat is gone and with a little adjustment to the exhaust, that thing sounds crazy. Last time another guy came up and asked, what's in it? 3 liters? Yeah, but I don't think he really knows much about cars. But yeah, if you think there's a 3 liter in there, then it does sound pretty brutal, right? What was that? What happened? What happened?
I actually just wanted to stop it for a moment. But yeah, somehow it didn't work out the way I had in mind, so I'm not gonna do it again, you know.
You've already had a second warning. That's not allowed here on the premises?
No, and I think he passed.
Yeah, is the diff holding up?
The diff is definitely holding up.
I think on a wet track it only gets easier for the diff, so I think the challenge is a success, guys.
I'll park the car inside briefly, then we'll explain our plans for the next episodes. Because the car is ready, but actually the stickers aren't done yet, and it still needs to be polished and aligned. There are still plenty of things we need to do with the car.
Of course, for May 25th Drift Arcaded, so yeah, everyone needs to know that we'll be there, but there still need to be some stickers put on, so that's something for the future. We're back in the workshop, and I see we have 4 hours and 45 minutes left. So what now? Are we just going to relax like we're in Ibiza? No, I can say that the project is a success. Of course, we've done some extra things that aren't really necessary for a drift car, like stripping it out and things like that. We just thought those things would make it more fun. Exactly, the lighter it is, the less power you need to drift. Those were the main points. It also had to look a bit like a drift car, but those aren't the necessary things. What's really necessary for a drift car is, for example, welding the differential and a hydraulic handbrake. Those are the things we did anyway, as you know. But installing coilovers isn't necessary either, though it's definitely better for handling, of course. I think it turned out to be a really nice car. Of course, with the partners we've had and the ones still to come. Of course, full car tuning. Thank you so much for the seats and of course the strut bars. Those are of course partners we really need for a project like this. And of course there will be big marketing stickers added as well. Yeah, what you can expect from this car in the future are, of course, nice stickers, a proper alignment, and of course a custom chip, and of course a really great day. I'm looking forward to it. Now that I see and know this thing slides like a beast, I just feel like going all out with it for a whole day. We rescued a little beast from the scrapyard.
We completely rebuilt it in just 20 hours into a drift car, so we can be proud of ourselves. Did you enjoy this episode? Don't forget to subscribe to us, and of course to our vlog channel, because that's where the other episodes will be that actually don't appear on our main channel. Like the alignment, like cleaning the car and putting the finishing touches on it. So yeah, with that being said,
yeah, we'll see each other on our vlog channel. I'm so happy. Ciao.